Happy Holy Hump Day on this February 23rd, everyone. I'm Pastor Robert. Welcome to this midweek time where I can share some spiritual thoughts and reflections with you. And on this Holy Hump Day, I'm thinking of in just 2 weeks, we will begin the season of Lent. And Lent always begins with Ash Wednesday. And this year, Ash Wednesday begins on March 2nd. And it's at Ash Wednesday where we receive the imposition of ashes either on our forehead in the sign of the cross or on the back of our hand. And here's a picture of a church member that came to an Ash Wednesday service before the pandemic. And I think my hand might have been shaking a little bit when I put the sign of the cross on her forehead, and some of those ashes fell down on the bridge of her nose. Creating kind of a fun memory of that Ash Wednesday. But Ash Wednesday is to remind us of our mortality and of our complete dependence upon God. And it begins this season of Lent, which lasts for 40 days. And the 40 days goes up this year to Saturday, April 16th, the day before Easter Sunday. And those 40 days are to remind us of the 40 years that the Israelites wandered in the wilderness until they finally made it into the promised land. They had been slaves in Egypt, and Moses, not Charlton Heston,
let my people go.
But Moses was able to lead them to freedom, and God, of course, parted the Red Sea and performed these miracles in the wilderness to help them to finally enter into the promised land. So we're kind of living out that whole 40-year journey in just 40 days with the season of Lent. And actually, there's 3 aspects to the season of Lent, which I think are important. And the first one is the season of Lent is a time to journey with Jesus and the disciples to the cross and to the empty tomb. So see yourself as one of Jesus' disciples leading up to Jerusalem, where he would eventually die on a cross, but then be raised from the dead. The second part of the season of Lent focus is it's really a time for us to slow down and to reflect on our own brokenness and our own need for God's grace. And then I would say the third part of Lent that's very important is that it's a time for us to participate in a high-intensity spiritual workout. So Lent has traditionally been a time for people who are seeking to be baptized or to join the church on Easter Sunday to spend that time, those 40 days in catechism, learning about their faith and learning what it means to be a disciple of Jesus, and then they would be baptized and become members of the church. So in keeping with that high-intensity spiritual workout, our theme this year for the season of Lent is going to be the making of a disciple. And the whole point behind this series is that disciples are made, not born. And we're called to practice the disciplines of our faith so that we can be the disciples that God has called us to be. So let me share the 8 aspects of what it means to be a disciple and how we're going to work on those 8 aspects. And these include, and these are in the order of the Sundays that we will be focusing on them. So we're going to begin on that first Sunday of Lent and that'll be March 6th, and that will be on the aspect of being hope-filled. And then the next Sunday, we're going to focus on the importance of being generous. And then we're going to be looking at what it means to be worshipful. And by the way, each of these aspects are related to the appointed scripture readings during those season of Lent Sundays. Then the following Sunday, we're going to focus on the importance of being grace-filled. And then we're going to be looking at being Jesus-centered. And then we're going to be looking at the importance of being faithful. And then on Maundy, Thursday, we're going to be focusing at that service on the importance of being servant-like. And then on Easter Sunday, which will conclude this series on the making of a disciple, we're going to be looking at what it means to be a faith-sharing disciple of Jesus. So I am really looking forward to this season of Lent focus, and I just wanted to offer this sneak preview. You'll notice that the image for this Lent series is a skyscraper, and so we need that scaffolding and the crane to lift us up so that we can work on those areas of our lives where we can grow and what it means to be hope-filled and generous and worshipful and grace-filled and Jesus-centered and faithful and servant-like and a faith sharer. So I invite you to join us for this Sunday. It's going to be Transfiguration Sunday. And Transfiguration Sunday is always the bridge between ordinary time following the Christmas season, which we have been observing the last several weeks, and then into the season of Lent. And so this Sunday is Transfiguration Sunday. The worship theme is going to be I See You, and it's going to be based on all of our appointed scripture readings, but especially from the book of Exodus. And so please join us this Sunday at 9 or 10:30 for our in-person service. Also, you can watch the service at 10:30 live stream on our church's YouTube channel. And so I just pray that as we approach the season of Lent, that we would all be looking forward to that time when we can grow in our faith in those 8 very important aspects of what it means to be a disciple of Jesus.